Okay, so we were going to have a chat about WordPress page builders, and I'm sure a couple of you. Well, Roger, I know you've used them. So I'm going to put you over here so I don't have to keep looking too far to the side to see you. Does anybody else use them in their websites?
Oh. I use Elementor.
Oh, okay, right. So that's one of the ones we will talk about. Elementor is a page builder, and there are numerous versions of them.
I was going to say I have something, because I inherited management of this website, so I think it had something bakery or something.
Yeah, WP Bakery is another.
That's the one.
Page builder.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically it means that so obviously you'll get these slides as usual, so don't worry about things like that. But it was that if you wanted to change the color of backgrounds on various bits and pieces, you actually had to know how to do some coding. So you needed to know how to do the CSS, cascading style sheets, which tells it what color the background is, what color the font is, how big the font is, and all of the visual elements like that, which was great for people that actually did that stuff. But for a lot of businesses, especially small businesses that just want to change things themselves, as you can appreciate, it was a bit of a pain because you had to go back to your developer every time and say, actually, I don't like that yellow. Can we make it a bit more canary yellow rather than? And so you'd be going backwards and forwards, and things would take a lot of time to do. But also there'd be frustration on both sides, because you're trying to explain what your version of green is if you haven't got the actual color, and the developer's giving you a green, and you know, it's the way of I think it's called the war of words, isn't it? You end up with, oh, that's not the green I meant. So it was all a lot of confusion, a lot of hard work, and very time consuming. But people have now come out with these things called page builders. And as I said, there's several of them. In fact, there's probably somewhere in the region of about a dozen or so, I should imagine. And some of them come as part of a theme. So quite often that WP Bakery, Ian, will come as part of a theme. It is a standalone plugin as well. You can actually get it as a plugin, but quite often developers bundle it in with a theme.
I think, yes, this website was built off of a theme.
Yeah. And so things like Divi, which has been around for quite a long time, it is actually part of the theme. They have their own page builder, which is part of the theme. And then we have, I'm not sure that freemium is a real word, but it seems to get used a lot. And it's things that you can get a basic model that will allow you to do A, B, C, and then you have to pay to do all the rest of the alphabet. And I'm sure we've all come across it. So Divi, you can go to the website, which is Elegant Themes. And where it says there, try it for free, okay, the thing to remember is if you want to try it for free, you are trying it on their platform, okay? You can't put it onto your website and see what your website looks like with it, okay? But you can try it for free, for free. And like so many of these things, you'll see a lot of this. This is actually on their website, looking at it. You have a bunch of elements, and when you hover over them or click on them, quite often you'll get these little icons that will pop up, okay? And you'll notice that as we look at a couple of the others, that these things tend to be fairly similar, okay? We generally know what the cog icon is for, although some of them will use a spanner instead of a cog, but it's changing settings, okay? There's a rubbish bin for deleting. It's that sort of thing. You get the general idea, but that's on the Divi website. There's also the ability to right click to do bits and pieces on them. The other thing you'll notice here, looking at Divi, in fact, you may actually, I'm saying that, you may not be able to notice it. We're looking at the front of the website. So what we're doing is we're viewing it as a visitor would. Okay, so we're making the changes to the view that the visitor sees rather than doing it in what the administrator can see and then going and looking to see what the changes we've made, what impact they've had, okay? So we get as you can with a lot of websites, you can right click on the website to do various bits and pieces, but on this one, you can actually right click to do some of the editing, okay? We've just had this one mentioned, I think, Elementor. It's there, just as a plugin, just go and search for it in the WordPress repository. So add new plugin, type Elementor. And you can probably see that not only is the website builder there, which has got 5 million active installs, which is quite impressive. But there's also some of the add-ons and things that you can go with it. Yeah. And again, these things are there in the repository, so you can give them a try and see how they work, or if they work for you. Okay. So Elementor, if you go into your normal admin to do a page, Elementor pops up quite obviously on a brand new page. It says click here to edit it with Elementor. Okay. And it gives you then, when you go through, areas on the page. You may not be able to see this, but you will when we have a quick look in a minute. It says drag widget here. Okay, and there's your widgets. So you literally just pull one over from the library. I suppose is the easiest way to explain it. So in that instance, I pulled over an image widget, and it's saying this is where it's going to place it. But the actual adding the image takes place over here. Okay, I'll sort of say we'll have a quick look in a minute. So what you're seeing here is the page, and here's the elements that you're adding and controlling. So again, I've put in an image, and you can see how it appears on the page. Nice and simple. And then I just added in a map, and again, I'm on the map, and there's the bits on the side there. The other one is Beaver Builder. These are probably the top two, to be honest, at the moment. And again, this is another freemium. And as I've done before, I just typed in Beaver Builder in the search, and already you can see that there's other add-ons that I can include as well. So I'm not just constrained by what they've got. When you launch a new page using Beaver Builder, it's not quite as obvious. As you can see, that there's a little grey tab at the top. So it's not quite as obvious on a new page what you're going to do with it. But we'll come across that in a minute. What it does give you, though, is you can take a tour. Okay, first time you've used it, you can take a tour, which is ideal. Really, really well done. Have a quick look and see what all the elements are and what they do. But we'll just go on ahead, and now we're on looking at the page, same as we were with Elementor. In this instance, our little library pops up on the right instead of on the left. The other thing that this does working from here is when you select the item from here and drop it onto the page, as it says, drop a row or layout, this box disappears. So you're just then left with this, which is, again, I did a photo. Last one called it an image. This one called it a photo. You know, you can see that that's one of the things that you can have problems with, is that the language is not sort of the same all the way. But again, select a photo, add a photo from the library. Oops. And I've dropped the photo in, and that's how it appears. Okay, so you can see more or less the same. We've got the same sort of controls on each block again, as we did with Divi. Yeah, like I said, this one uses a spanner. Divi used a gear, but if I remember rightly, Gmail, for example, uses the gear for settings as well. So, you know, it's trying to be different, I suppose. Oh, okay. So the last one, or as Sean put it, was the first one, was Gutenberg. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at Gutenberg. I haven't got it on any websites to show it to you, so this is just going to be some slides here. But the thing with Gutenberg is it's not a page builder as such. Okay, it's a block editor. And what that means is that you can add blocks of content onto the page. When you first fire it up, I just went into a sample page on a basic WordPress install. And as you can see, it's saying here, look, it's giving you an idea of what the blocks look like. You can just quickly whiz through this little tour, gives you a good idea. And like so many of them, there's a little blue plus button. And hover over it, it tells you add a block. When you click on that, this appears on the left-hand side of the screen, and here's your blocks. So it's a bit similar in that visual aspect to the page builders. Yeah, so so we got blocks and we got patterns. Sorry, I thought I'd quickly show you that. So the patterns are things like buttons. You can add different columns. You can add a gallery, headers, text. That's all actually in the patterns there. So I added an image again, and as you can see, it's appeared at the bottom of the page. And when you click on it, this little box appears, and these, if you click on these 6 dots, you can drag it. Okay, most of the others you will have seen use that funny cross shape. So they've deviated slightly there, but you can just, again, you can position these blocks on the page the same as you can with your page builder, but you do need to then go and preview the page, same as you've always done on your WordPress pages, to see what your visitors see. Okay, and I hope that makes sense to everybody. So I thought we'd have a quick look at Elementor. Let me get rid of that. So I'll, as usual, that'll be a PDF for you. So let's move that so I can see you all. So we saw a big button that says edit with Elementor. Okay, so that's when you're creating a new page. The beauty here is if I go to the front of the website, and this is, as I say, what the page builders really give you. As you can see at the top here, because I'm logged in as an editor or an admin, I can actually edit it there, which means I can now build the page visually. He said. Okay, so this is the view that we did have before. But now, so we can just go into it from the front page, from the front of the page, yeah? And we can click on the individual items to edit them. In this instance, we got a pencil. And now you can see that the side changes so that I can add bits and pieces. So text block, there's where I actually add the text over here, not on the page here. Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the blocks, and I can just drag things onto the page. Again, we're just looking for it. You see where it goes? We get a nice blue bar. That's where we're going to position it. Now we can just let it go. And you can control everything from here. So we've got various things at the top here, so we can change our text color quite easily. I can either change the blue that we've got. We can change our font for this particular thing if you should wish. So you can see we really have got a lot of control over what's appearing on the website. And it's all here. And I can see the changes that are as they're happening. If you are somebody that wants to do your own CSS, if the thing is too constrained for you, so sometimes there's certain elements in a theme that just will not work that easily. So it may be that you want to go in and add some CSS in here, so you can actually include custom CSS. You have to pay for the thing, unfortunately, but there you go. And again, we can adjust the margins. So if I make the bottom margin, turn off the link, otherwise all the margins will change. So I can make that margin. And you can see now it's pushed this further down the page. So my white space is going to be bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else should we show you? Okay, responsive mode. This is really useful, especially when you're going to start trying to do things like put images into the background, because we can see how our website will look on a tablet or a mobile. Okay, so in this instance, that's far too much white space. So we could take that out again. Yeah. So again, it really helps you when you're trying to get the look and feel that you want to achieve. What else would you like to know about builders? I know that when we set it up, we were going to say, you know, which is the best one to use, but I don't think there is a best one to use. I think it's whichever one you can get on with the best, rather than trying to force something to do a particular job. Excuse me.
So Mark, can you switch builders? For instance, this website I have comes with WP Bakery. Could I decide to use Elementor on it? Or are you sort of stuck with what you're given if you inherit one?
No, you could change, but you'll probably find that there's going to be a lot of tidying up to do, should we say.
Okay, so better to learn the one I've been given.
If the website does,
I don't know any one from the other.
Yeah, if the website does what you need it to do, if people can, if it looks right on a desktop, on a tablet, and on mobile, and your visitors can interact with it, then that's a good website.
Yeah, super. Okay.
You know, it's don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No.
But if you now want to take it to a new level and you want to perhaps put WooCommerce on it, for example,
yeah.
It may be that that WP Bakery won't give you the control for your WooCommerce elements that you want, and then you may start thinking,
okay,
perhaps I'll look at something else. But it's what are you trying to achieve? And if the website already achieves
we're just trying to tidy up and tweak what we've got, and that's it. Yeah, nothing fancy.
Yeah. So
get it out there is the main point.
Have you got Google Analytics on your website? That would be my starting point. Would always be: have you got Google Analytics?
How do I know?
Okay. It sounds possibly as if you haven't, but okay, so you can actually have a look and see if you have. But if you don't know, it would suggest you don't know the Google account to go into to look at the analytics anyway. So that it's rather a moot point if whoever's given it to you hasn't given you that information, unless you can go back to them and ask them, because your website has a purpose and a plan. So you want people to follow a certain track, and that's where you would look at your analytics to see if the people are following the path that you have laid down. Now,
intended,
yeah. And if they're not, then possibly, if you're going to then have to start remodeling the path, it might be time to change what you're using to construct it as well. But if people are using it, so if you're getting calls from the website or people filling in the contact us form, that sounds like it's working, you know. And if it's just there to deliver information, sounds like we're on. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go from here to Edinburgh, you can manage it in a Mini, or you could manage it in a luxury coach. You know, you will still get to Edinburgh. But if your sole purpose is just to get to Edinburgh, then stick with the Mini you've already got. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. I can't say as I've used WP Bakery recently, certainly not in the last few years. So I don't know if it gives you as much control over things like this. So as you can see, we can. But
I'm only looking for basics at the moment, and then
yeah. So things like colouring your background,
then we.
Or putting an image in as a background, you may not want to do that. So, I mean, you know, I've just put a background in behind that title as a for instance. So, I can't remember if WP Bakery allows you to do those sort of things off the top of my head.
It does. Well, the website does it. What got it to do that, I don't know, but I will find out.
Oh, okay. I don't want that going, right. Okay, so let's start. Now, so this is a free version of Elementor, okay? So the bits and pieces that we have here are probably a bit limited. And some of this is to do with the theme, because what we're building here is a directory. Okay, so these bits that say 27 are actually part of the template library that's been created by the theme. Okay, so when we got this theme, we got Elementor with it. Although, as you've seen, you can get the free version from the repository anyway. So I can't really, apart from just showing you dragging things onto and off the page, there's not really much more that I can show you with that.
But I think Elementor comes with a number of different themes for different types of businesses, doesn't it? If you go the page route.
Yes, I believe you can do. They do. So we generally run Astra theme, which will work with either Beaver Builder or Elementor. You get to select which one you use, and that comes with as you say, a bunch of pre-made either websites or just different pages for you to go and adjust and do as you see fit. I mean, it's completely up to you. But a lot of this is fairly similar in both, as I'll quickly show you. So this is Beaver Builder. So I've built this page already, and that's why this thing is already there. So, like I say, when you launch it, it will be in the text editor. But because I've put a page in, it comes up like that one there. So let's go to the front end as we did before. I'm asking too much of my internet. Nope, broken it. Let me try that again. Here we go. We're there. Have we got a new person just arrived? Okay, so this is the one that we use. It's Beaver Builder. But again, it's the same thing. You can see as you hover over the different elements, this set of icons pops up for you to do the different bits and pieces. But in this instance, we have a plus up here that gives us access to the elements. So we've got modules, rows. We can have templates. That's what you were talking about, Roger, some of that.
Yeah.
So these are just pages that come with the page builder templates that you can add in. So that's the one there that I've put on this page. So I just click that and it's loaded the page up for me. And I can also, as it says, saved. So I can save things, and you can do this in Elementor as well. So for instance, I've got a block here. This is a row which covers all the way down to here. So all these elements in here are in one row. So I can save that row into my library if I wish, if it'll play. Okay. So I can save that. And now there it is there. So I've just saved that block and it's now in my library so I can use it whenever I want. When I've got a page that's built as I want it, I can come up here and I can save the whole page as a template. So I can create a whole page and then build it from there, which can be really useful if you're building pages with lots and lots of different rows with lots and lots of different colors on, for example. You can either create them as a page or you can label them individually as the rows and then pull them in when you build a new page, for example. Now this is one of the beauties, and I'm sure you can do this in Elementor, but this is one of the reasons why we sort of get this so much better, is at the moment I've got one row here. Well, I can say actually I want column, so I can actually say I want two. And now on using our funny little bit, we can literally just start changing the page around and seeing what we're doing. So we're seeing exactly what we're going to be left with when we've finished. I think there's not a great deal more we can sort of go with in page builders, apart from the fact of how easy it is for you to achieve the look that you want. One of the things you do need to remember, of course, is to test it, have a look at it on a mobile. Okay, so I've just made a change there. Okay, so in this instance, it's not going to have that much of an effect because the two elements are still going to appear underneath each other. Okay, because this is just dirty, but just to quickly show you, that's roughly what it's going to look like on a mobile. Okay, roughly, that's just a very dirty way of doing it. But for example, if I had 4 columns, and that's one of the other things, you can just quickly duplicate things on here. Come on, little machine. Yeah, let's take that then. Okay, so now that we got 4 columns, you have to look at it from the perspective of how it's going to appear now. So, for example, these are going to stack. Okay, so we've now got them stacked like that. So it may be worth thinking about, and then again, this is where the the benefit of using a page builder goes is, especially if you've got two images near each other. So we've got those the other way round. From my visitor's point of view now, if they see that on a mobile, they're going to get two images the same one after each other. Not very good for the user's experience. So I'm having mouse problems. I think my battery's running running out on my mouse. But I can go in here now and I can say, let's just remind myself where it is. I can say I don't want this to show on, right, okay, it's going to show all the time. But I can say I only want it to show on large devices, so it'll only show on desktops. Which means that image, if I look at this from a mobile perspective, is going to be, hold on, let me just go, and so I'll look at it from a mobile. It's dropped the second image. Okay, so it's changed the code for me to do that. I don't have to do it. So does everybody see how that can be quite a benefit to quickly do things?
Yeah.
And if I go back to a desktop, it's back. So it just goes to show it hasn't gone anywhere. But that's from you trying to get people to, especially if you're looking at your analytics and thinking, why doesn't anybody do this on that page? So for example, we've got a button down here that says learn even more, okay? But if I was on a mobile and all I was getting was a stack of images and I had to scroll and scroll to try and find the information, that's possibly why I wouldn't be pressing that button, because I never get there. Yeah, so what can I take out of here to make, because that's what I want people to do, is press that button. So what can I do in the design quite quickly to make it so that on a mobile, people can actually do the action that I want them to? Yeah? Excuse me?
Yeah.
Being very quiet, Jackie. Am I boring you?
Oh, you were here. I was here.
So does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you just go and do a Google search for page builders, you'll probably find at least a dozen. Okay. Some of them are premium only, which means you've got to go and buy it from the developer to use it. Some of them, as Ian's found, and I think a lot of them, WP Bakery comes in themes. I know you can get it individually, but it is a premium. I don't think there is a free version of it. I think it comes in. There used to be, no, WP Bakery is a new name. It used to be called something else, so you may come across it as something else. There's Divi, as I said, is a big one. There's Avada, which is another one that comes rolled up in a theme. There's one called Seed Prod, I think, which again is a premium one only. But if you want to know whether or not it's for you, I said I would try either Elementor or Beaver Builder and just get the free ones and see what you can do. What you get here, the amount of modules you get may be limited. Okay, but you'll certainly be able to do headings, buttons, text, images, and more importantly, you'll be able to, when you come onto these things, do the styling of the background and all the rest of it without anything else. So all these options here will be available to you on an image, so, or photo as they call it. So you can go and see how it will work for you. Now, WP Bakery used to use short codes, if I remember rightly,
Yes,
Ian.
yes, it does.
So I don't know if it still does in its modern sort of thing, but it means if you take it out to try something else, you're probably better off putting your site into maintenance mode first. Okay.
Yes.
And that's just so that you can put a message up that says to people, we're just doing some spring cleaning or something, email us here, we'll be back in. It means you can go and have a look at this while it's happening, but they will just see that page. So that
I know maintenance mode,
and then you can go and see, but you'll find if you take something like WP Bakery, what you'll end up with here is an awful lot of square brackets in your text, which is what it uses to say, here's a column, and this column is half a page or whatever. Just so that you're aware.
No, I think I'm sticking with it for the moment and learning.
Oh, okay.
Mark, I've just been summoned to go and have some very nice Thai food.
And you mean you're going to go?
It means I have to disappear. Well, it depends whether I want to still remain married or not.
Okay, so that's fair
enough. I think I need to go, but thank you very much. I've really
You're welcome,
enjoyed it.
Roger. You're welcome.
Catch up on the replay if I've missed anything from here on.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's going to be great anymore. But enjoy your dinner.
I will. I just make you all jealous, and I really don't care. See ya, chaps. Bye.
Cheers.
Right. Okay. So yes, but like I said, I don't think realistically there's anything more that I can show you to give you enough of an idea as to whether or not this would be something for you to go and use, especially if you've already got a website. And it would mean you changing over. I can't remember with Elementor, but certainly Beaver Builder. If you load in Beaver Builder, and you go into your list of pages, so let me just get out of that. That's a good thing with this. Sorry, and I think if I remember rightly, Elementor's the same. I've done all that work, and I'm not sure if I like it, and I can't remember if I've saved it. And I don't want to damage my website, so I can just discard whatever I've done, and I'll be back to where I started. Okay, that's really quite useful. Or back to the last time I saved, which is possible. Okay, so yeah. So what was? Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So if you've got a website already, and where all your page, let's go here, edit page. So you're in your normal text editor, and this is your page as it's laid out in your text editor. And this is what I did wrong with this in the first place. You can then launch your page builder from here. And what it will do is it will just put it all onto the one page, into one block on the page. Okay, so if you then want to start moving things around, you possibly will need to go and make copies and delete bits and get it into separate blocks and columns so that you can move it around, especially if you want to take one column and make it into 2 or 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, you would actually have to launch the page builder. And then just say, okay, I'll make a duplicate. And as you could see possibly before, there's a thing there that says duplicate. So I can just hit the duplicate and it creates another one underneath the one I've got.
Yeah.
But it will do if it ever catches up with me. Oh, there we go. So there's our duplicate of that. So now I can say, right, I don't want that bit in there. I'll take that out and I'll leave it there in the duplicate. So you could quite quickly put it into the block. To tidy your page up wouldn't take long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how easy it would be to go from one page builder to another in that respect, I'm not too sure. I've never tried it. So No, I tell a lie. I have taken a site on WP Bakery and put it into Beaver Builder, and it takes a while to tidy it up.
No.
So,
I'm not that adventurous yet.
No, possibly not.
Besides, anyway. It's the other half's website, so if I bugger it up...
Oh, you'll be in the doghouse with Roger.
I'll be sleeping in the shed, yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, that's it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Like I said, it was just to give you that feeling of, is it right for me or not? And could I use it to do something with my website? So, if you want to go ahead and do a rebuild, or I suppose if somebody's going to build one for you and you may want to make tweaks afterwards, you've got an idea of what these things will do. So you can go and play to your heart's content.